Okay, so we're going to be building the stories section of our app. This is going to be on the left column here on top. And just like how we built the sidebar, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to add another container on the top. And I'm also going to put another container here at the bottom just to serve as a placeholder for the actual posts. So if we go to Instagram, we have container on top for the stories. And think of this as a big container that holds posts. Okay, so let's start building. I'm going to drop a group, and the selection for this one again is based on what we're going to be holding inside. Instagram, we're going to be holding a repeating group, and it's just one group. So for now, I'm going to select column. I'm going to let it expand. I'm going to select my wire, and I'm going to give it 80 pixels. Actually, I'm going to give it 120 pixels just to give ourselves a little bit more room. It's going to be domain width. It's going to be responsive. All right, so we're going to be adding a repeating group because we want to be able to add stories dynamically. So I'm going to select a repeating group. I'll drop this over here. Again, how do we want to lay this out? It's going to be a row. So if we go to appearance, here below data source, you're going to see set fixed number of rows, number of columns. If you go back to our example, it's just one row with multiple columns. The columns is dynamic. So the way to do that in Bubble, go over here, select one row, and no fixed number of columns. We'll just let it expand. And just to fix this error here is asking for us what type of content. So I already set up some demo profiles for us. So I'm gonna just connect them over here. And gotta give myself some space. So I'm gonna select my parent container, put some padding around it. I like padding. I always like to put some padding around the elements that I'm working with. I think spacing is one of the biggest things we can do to make our UI look very good. So this is fixed width. We don't want to be fixed width. Has some mid width. There should be no mid width for this repeating group. It should just extend. Okay. So now I see that this is not expanding all the way, and that's because it's fit to content. So I'm gonna unselect this, fit height to content, which gonna let it expand. All right, so now we can start placing some items inside the cells. Again, we'll go to layout. The way that the elements are going to be placed is based on what we select over here for our repeating group. If you go back to the stories, the image, the circle with an image is at top and the username is at the bottom. So just from this cell, I know it's going to be top to bottom. Go over here, select column, and I'm going to be adding my image. Since I already have this wire up, I should be able to just select my image. Now I'm going to be dropping a text. Again, I have this wire up, select my name, and let's just see how it looks. All right, we have something here. As you can see, we're able to scroll because we have no fixed number of columns. We just let it expand. And since this is inside a container, which is inside another container, which is inside another container that it is fixed, and the limit of how big this can go, in this case, is if I hover over here, is 600 pixels. My peer group is also going to be self-contained in this container. So that's why we're going to be able to scroll. Okay. I'm just going to make it look a little bit like Instagram. So I'm going to go to appearance. I'm going to go select, I think maybe 40. I want to make sure I have consistent fixed height. In this case, I'm just going to put 40 and 40. And for this one, I don't want it to be fixed. I want it to expand. Anytime you see fix with selected, be careful. You definitely don't want things fixed unless it's on purpose, unless you want to keep a certain width for your container or text. So in this case, no fixed width. Let's see how it looks. All right. So this is a good example. The fix when we took out the fixed width, it went a little bit past it. So one way I will fix this, if I was tasked to do a clone like this, I will go to the name, and I think I can put truncate to 5 characters, maybe 10 characters. And I will just kind of play around to see what makes sense. And I might even put just dot dot dot. So anyway, you can play around with this, or just see what Instagram is doing. They have a dot 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 for some of them too. Okay, so it's on the left side. I want to make sure we're putting this in the middle. So I'm gonna go to the actual layout of the text, and I'm gonna set up the alignment here at the bottom for this one, and also for the image. And that will give us alignment towards the middle. I'm gonna remove the repeating group style of the line, and I'm gonna go and just take a quick preview. So as you can see, we already started to get a little bit more closer to what we have on Instagram. And I will go even further. Let me go and select a good font for us. Style, I like enter 100 May 14 with this one. For now, it's getting a little too close to the other story. So one way I can do this, I can actually group this. I can group this because what I want to do, I want to be able to put some padding around it. So when I group both of these elements, now I'm able to apply some padding to it. And this will hopefully give us a little bit more space in between these elements. Again, you can either do a grouping like myself, or you can use margin. So if I didn't use groups, maybe I will take them out, going back, and I could simply just do a margin 20. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's another idea. So I'm gonna go back to the group column. Again, I don't want nothing fixed. In this case, I'm gonna let it stretch out. I'm just gonna apply a padding right. 10 is fine. So I want to keep this a little bit more aligned with this one over here. I didn't put a padding over here. So I'm gonna select that container. I'm actually gonna remove this. So hopefully we're aligning a little bit more properly. Okay. At the bottom, we're gonna actually do fit to content. So that way things are a little more tighter. Take away this and fit to content. Okay. So anytime, once you're done wireframing, once you're done setting up the foundations, you can start to go to your different containers and remove any main height that you have, and select fit height to content. So that way we adjust based on what we have built. So in this case, the main container, main height 0, fit to content. So now it's going to try to collapse itself, but it can't because it has a repeating group. Repeating group, again, fit height to content. It's going to try to collapse itself, but it can't. It has content. If I go here, again, it's going to try to collapse itself, but it can't. It has content. So yeah, so that's the idea. That's why I went ahead and just remove all the make heights and select fit to content. All right, so we have navigation on top, our stories here on top. Now we're gonna move forward with the posts.